Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 11th of May. It's the year 2020, and the country is still under the jackboot of the government pharmaceutical industrial complex, which is allowing people to shelter in place or go outside as long as they dress a certain way, they interact with people in a certain way, they only buy certain things, they're not allowed to go to the beach, you're not allowed to go to state parks, etc., etc., etc. Now, this is all completely un-American, but it's happening all across the world, and most people are standing for it. Most people haven't bothered to look into the hundreds and hundreds of medical doctors that have come out and explain how all of this is completely not what it seems. None of this needs to happen whatsoever. Sheltering in place, washing your hands incessantly, wearing a mask is actually detrimental to your good health. But on the law enforcement end of it, some people actually did come out and voice their concerns, which means they stood up to the oath that they took. I come from a law enforcement family, and I'm a veteran, and we've all taken an oath, much like this fellow right here. You've probably seen him before, so check this out.
To make this video. I've been in law enforcement for 10 years, and I'm speaking to my peers, other fellow officers, people in any kind of law enforcement position. I've seen officers nationwide enforcing tyrannical orders against the people, and I'm hoping it's the minority of officers, but I'm not sure anymore, because every time I turn on the television, every time I look to the internet, I'm seeing people arrested or cited for going to church, for traveling on the roadways, for going surfing, opening their businesses, going to the park with their families, or doing nails out of their own house, using their own house as a place of business, and having undercover agents go there and arrest them and charge them with what? With a crime? I don't know what crime people are committing by doing nails in their own house, but we're seeing this more and more and more, and we need to start looking at ourselves as officers and thinking, is what I'm doing right? Now, I want to remind you that regardless of where you stand on the coronavirus, we don't have the authority to do those things to people just because a mayor or a governor tells you otherwise.
Now, he's completely and absolutely correct. None of them, not even the president, has the authority to make anybody stay in their house, quarantine in their house, shelter in place. None of that, especially not the governor. The only reason they're allowed to get away with this is because people are allowing them to get away with this. And after several months, people finally start to come outside, and they're met by the situation that this officer is talking about.
Get to violate people's constitutional rights because somebody in our chain of command tells us otherwise. It's not how this country works. Those are de facto arrests. You know, we're violating people's rights and taking money from them, or even worse, arresting them and depriving them of their freedom when they are exercising their constitutional rights.
Period. Period. Now, I've had numerous doctors, I've read to you numerous links where experts in the medical field, these are absolutely world-renowned experts in the medical field, have told you that this whole COVID thing is a complete smokescreen for what appears to be ushering in Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030. But that's neither here nor there. This is what happens when an officer in the United States of America decides to uphold his oath and tell the world what he thinks of what's going on right now. This is exactly what happens. You guessed it, he lost his job. If you want to watch the whole video, the link will be right below. But here he is, Officer Anderson, explaining what happened after the video went viral.
Hey, what's up, guys? So I just kind of wanted to take a couple minutes, get everybody caught up to speed on what's going on in my life. I've been getting a lot of questions, and figured I'd just make a second video and answer some of the things that I've been receiving. I first wanted to say I'm humbled by the response that my video got. It's been viewed millions and millions of times. People all over the country have been calling me, texting me, sending me emails, comments, and the overwhelming majority of of it has been positive. And so I think that's pretty cool, because my whole thought process on making that video was trying to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the public. And I've seen both sides with open arms willing to embrace that. And I think that's a step in the right direction. So that's pretty cool. One thing that I've seen come up over and over in the comments, and I've been in emails sent to me, is, are you gonna get in trouble? What happened to you? Or is there any discipline any discipline taking place? And so I figured I'd take a chance and give you a little synopsis of the last 3 days of my life after posting that video. So I posted the video on Tuesday, was it May 5th? And it took it took a day or two before it really started getting a lot of traction. But the next morning when I woke up on the 6th, I think it was only at a few thousand views. And I had received a message from my command saying, wow, Greg, what a powerful message. We agree with that 100%, well done. And that was actually a relief for me, because I was like, great, I know that it's risky putting something out like that, but I felt like it was so grounded in integrity and liberty that no one would have an issue with it. So that was a relief. And then fast forward 3 hours later, I get another phone call from my command, and it said, hey Greg, the video's up to 400,000 views. It's time to pull the plug on this thing. And I immediately, it kind of caught me off guard, because I said, why would we want to pull the plug on something that was already acknowledged as a good and powerful message from one law enforcement officer to others?
Long story short, he lost his job completely, because that's the new America that we live in under. This isn't about public safety. This is about censorship on a massive level. This is a power control grab on a massive level. And this is forcing law enforcement to actually be worse than they've ever been at any time. If you want to go outside your house, you better be following certain guidelines, or you're no longer a free person. Well, it's time to either back this guy up or just accept the situation, one of the two. This is a fundraiser they started for him 16 hours ago, and it's already at 32,000, but I guarantee after being on this channel, it'll go up exponentially. I'm going to leave links below, and I applaud this guy because, number one, he made it through Ranger School, and that's an amazing thing. He's a law enforcement officer who actually tried to do his job, which is defending his oath against foreign enemies and domestic. And that's exactly what he was doing. And in the new America, the new normal, he lost his job. So like I said, links will be in the description. You can watch all of this. It's unbelievable that we're here right now. These people have no authority unless you give it to them, period. It's time to stand up. I mean, it's way past time to stand up, but it's time to stand up. The tree of liberty needs to be refreshing from time to time with the blood of tyrants and the blood of patriots. And then, of course, there's always the blood of the victims that don't do anything. Richie from Boston. Links will be in the description. It's unbelievable. This is the new America. I'm out.